Okay, now let's talk about Russia, Ukraine. And for more on this, joining me now here in the studios is former U.S. Army Brigadier General Peter Zwack, who served in Moscow from 2012 to 2014 as the U.S. senior defense official and attaché to the Russian Federation. General, great to have you here with us on TRT World. I think this is the first time we're hosting you here in the studio, so really appreciate your taking out the time. So, of course, many developments have taken place over the past few weeks when we look at the war between Russia and Ukraine. And given the scale of Russia's latest missile and drone barrage, I think which is the largest in over 3 years, do you believe Ukraine's current air defense posture is sustainable without direct U.S. military support, especially if European countries are unable to fill the gap?
I don't believe it's sustainable. The Ukrainians have been putting an extraordinary fight, a fight for their existence, a fight for their sovereignty, a fight for their people. But using the term from 1940 over London, the blitz is going on right now, and the Russians are just trying to make the Ukrainians submit, and I use that word. It's almost a medieval word, submit. And it seems that Putin has continued to raise the stakes. What is still a little bit perplexing, except I think maybe it's just to show power and we're going to do it our way. He has spurned President Donald Trump several times. And Trump, and this is significant because Trump is now saying basically that Putin is not his guy anymore, and has got a sort. So it's really interesting in that side. Militarily, your question, it's the Ukrainians are running out of their, especially air defense systems, anti-ballistic missiles and rockets. They're handling the drones pretty well, and the Russians are now kicking out basically a newer version of the Iranian Shahed drone, and they are producing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds a month now, and it's not going to stop. And every time. And any time that it seems that there are talks and hopes and everything else, Putin will just lay it on. I think right now our American Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, is meeting Sergey Lavrov for the first time, foreign minister. And he's meeting a savvy Russian diplomat who's been at it for 2 decades. And so that in itself should be pretty instructive. And the Russians are right now putting up the government regime absolutely implacable in consistency in their narrative. But there are also chinks in Putin's armor, and I think that Russia is also under a lot of stress despite the bravado. So we and the free-minded nations of the world and fellow alliance members like Turkey, this is a free-minded nation, Ukraine. If there were ever a country that deserved support in the face of total aggression, and can you believe it? They've now brought in the North Koreans back in Kursk, which for the Ukrainians it was the Mongols that raised Kiev in Old Rus hundreds of years ago. So to have have the Asians, especially the North Koreans, and it just makes it even crazier.
Right. Now, General, we're running out of time, so very
Yeah.
quickly here, of course, we have to also look at the stance of the U.S. president. If you look at how he has been reacting to this war since he returned to the White House, many would say there's a lot of ambiguity. For example, the U.S. President, Donald Trump, has shown hesitation when it comes to fully backing Ukraine's defense efforts. Maybe that is changing now a little bit, but to what extent do you think, from a military standpoint, to what extent do you think this ambiguity has damaged Ukraine's defense efforts?
It has damaged Ukrainian defense efforts, especially when you include that freeze last year that we had that. Europe is now stepping it up, but it's going to take, they're the beginning, if you will, of reinforcing their logistics and all of that. And we also have production challenges in things like Patriot interceptors. And there's concern that if we give them all away to Ukraine, then we may have future problems elsewhere. But this is the fight right now.
Right.
This is the fight. And I think that whatever we stand for in a free-minded world, this in Ukraine is the fight.
Fascinating insights, General Peter Zwack. Thanks very much for joining me here in the studios. Thanks very much for taking out the time. Now, rescuers